that allows you to call into your VB functionality to show stuff inside of the CalMate application. So you're just more maintaining some type of shell inside of a CalMate that would call your VB app to do things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
So there's people who do that. There's other people who just everything with their third-party solution is totally designed and built into the CalMate software. So they've got source code for multiple modules. And there's other people who don't have anything to do with the CalMate source code. Their application sits totally externally, and their application reads and writes into data. So they've taken the time or whatever to learn the data and learn how to update it.
Okay.
So it's a whole mix, and that's why I'm saying the integration is so different from one vertical solution to another vertical solution.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm just gathering information here, see what's available, and then I'll decide. I'll sit with my team and we'll decide what the best approach is. But I appreciate your input.
Sure. Now, are you seeing my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't reduce the resolution, so I'm sorry if it's.
No, that's good. I can see. I have it on a big monitor, so that's fine.
Okay, good. So if you see underneath your maintenance and technical services, there's something called technical documents.
Okay.
And so now we can come down to, there's a series of things here. So there's a component reference guide. This is about how to do crystal reports, which you guys probably won't need. This is something here with the system components, just class libraries and so on. This is if you're going to be modifying a CalMate directly.
Okay.
Now let me go back. Then you got a program reference guide. So each module has its own reference guide. So we can come down here and do a preview, for example. Pass through some of this, and it actually goes through every single function in a module. And it's going to tell you, okay, when we're adding a customer, what happens? What are explanations of all the things within the forms themselves? Okay. What forms does this one call? So, these are just kind of examples of if you're going to be modifying a CalMate directly, this could be an important document, type of document for you to get.
Okay.
All right. The report reference guide, this is going to explain to you about how to modify the CalMate reports, most specifically like the system tables. So that's only necessary if you're going to be creating new reports inside of a CalMate. Another one that's going to be helpful for you is the database reference guide. Let me pull this up. And so this is going to go through and explain every single table. So if we get down. So here's an invoice line item table. It's going to tell you what fields are required, what type of validation might be needed on this, what are the indexes, and it's also going to go through store procedures. It's going to explain each of the store procedures, tell you about the parameters, an example of how it would be called inside of a Foxgrow application, and what functions call this type of store procedure.
Okay. Interesting. So those could be called by an outside program as well, because they're just sitting there.
Absolutely, yeah. So you would just do your execution here, right?
Okay.
You would set up a connection to the SQL server, and you would call the store procedure.
Okay, good.
So
Yeah,
There are some other ones down in here, but you're going to want a database reference guide. I think you would start there for the modules you're interested in.
absolutely, yeah.
And to me, that would probably be
First thing we need.
purchase order, sales order, and inventory control.
You mean within the database reference guide?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Is there some information on the available imports and exports?
Well, for that is all inside the account itself. So, oh,
Never fails.
oh, you got to be kidding. Hang on. All right. I forgot to change this. Report now. There we go. So when you go to each module, and you go to the transactions menu, you're going to see something such as here, import sales order.
Okay, and where would you find the structure or the schema of the file that yours to import?
Sure. So go into this function, and then press the F1 help key, and then you'll see an option, something like this, parameters for sales order text files.
Okay.
And it'll give you an explanation about it. It'll give you a sample of what the text file should look like.
Okay.
And so you've got the account made application, like a demo version.
I do.
Is that correct?
I do, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you'll be able to go right into that. The other thing too is just come into search and type in import, and you should be able to find, places where there are imports or some mention of an import somewhere in here.
Okay. Okay. Okay, yeah, I get it. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a great start. Anything else you want to tell me, or?
No, not really. I mean, I think we covered it. Different ways to integrate is, you guys look at the business logic and you replicate that business logic and put it through. And other ways is you can work with us that we'll create like these integration point tables that you can write information into, and then it'll automatically handle all the updating in the account made. It all depends on how much you want to get into actually knowing account names. Where do you want to spend your time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the value of your time getting and understanding exactly how accounting works and handling all that yourself, or is the value getting the integration done and then you only worry about having to communicate with that integration?
Okay. Okay, let me talk to my team and see how we feel about both ways. I mean, I kind of like the idea of getting to know a program really well, because then it opens the door to doing other things as opposed to.
Sure.
But but for sake of expediency, we'll look at both options, and I mean, I think a lot of the things that you're showing me we probably can do without too much. I mean, for our Prism app, if you can import orders, we just have to create the text file, and that's probably it.
Right. So, if you are going to go that route, they would pull up a screen such as the ship sales order. They would come down to something here like save invoice, and they can see all the logic. Here we're beginning an SQL transaction. We're defining some queries that we're going to do, and then we're going to loop through each line item, and we're going to insert records
actually make modifications at that level as well? Like you can go right there and modify this code?
Yes.
Okay, so just remind me again, once you modify this code, how do you broadcast it? You actually, with AccountMate, automatically save this code now in a separate folder?
Yeah, so what you would do is AccountMate's going to have a common files location, so we're on a server that all workstations will point to.
Okay.
Because their AccountMate application will be installed on each workstation.
Okay.
If you have modifications to screen forms, you're going to put it into this modifications folder. And so it's here that you would put any of your new up-to-date AccountMate functions.
So AccountMate is going to look first here when it opens, let's say, a sales order to see if there is a modified one before it opens its own.
Correct, yes. But it'll only look in this folder if you have source code to that module.
Okay.
So the end user has to have the source code.
So if the end user has source code, he'll look in that modification folder and load that one. And the other option
Right.
would be to make a deal with AccountMate and pay a royalty, and then you would include it as part of the AccountMate installer.
Yeah, something like that. There's all kinds of different ways that can be worked out. And that would be a conversation you would have to have with Donna.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I understand.
So other routes that people have taken is they for example, only put down that they needed the source code for the inventory control module. So in AccountMate, find it.
How much does it cost the end user to get the source code for, let's say, inventory control module?
$1,500.
So each module is $1,500.
Yes.
Okay.
So they would get source code to just inventory control. They might have a function on here called, Prism, and something on there that might do something for importing information. And this function would just sit there. It could have a timer control on it, so it just fires, every minute or every 5 minutes, whatever you want to set to go look for something.
Okay.
And then this one program could have all this type of coding right here. I mean, sometimes it can literally just be a cut and paste.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're populating the tables necessary that this function needs to have, there's no reason why you can't just call this type of coding right off the bat, right? Just copy it and paste it. And
So what you're saying is you can have source code for one module and put all your functionality within it.
yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's stuff you work out with Donna as to what you can do, and if you get the source code for yourself in these modules, then you can pull this stuff together. And then as far as your end user, you're only putting in the inventory control source code is needed for you to get your changes in.
Okay. Makes
So
sense.
these are all kind of different avenues that you can take.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
And this way, if it's inside of AccountMate, all this functionality that's specific to AccountMate, such as this, I mean, all that's available right through the AccountMate. It's all part of the core of the AccountMate system. So you don't have to worry about changing anything. It's all, you can just take this coding and paste it in and just start rolling with it.
Mm-hmm. So all the functions are broadcast throughout, no matter what module you're in it. Like the calling the SQL or opening a SQL string. These are global functions. They don't necessarily belong to the source.
Yes, exactly. You want to get a unique ID, it's right here, an SQL unique ID. So all this is here and can be called out. So here an example. Let's go down and look at the shipping. Well, notice that we're calling store procedures to do a lot of the shipping for us.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot that has been automated in the back end. Even this right here, even though this is a Fox Pro procedure, this is actually
And how do you know that it's a stored procedure as opposed to a function?
So that's where that document for the program, the program reference guide comes in. Now I happen to know that this is an inventory control function. So I'll bring up a procedure file. And here's the procedure file. Here's the parameters. It does some validation. And if I scroll down here, we'll see that it does nothing more than just call store procedure.
Okay. So having the source code might be useful just to even look at the stored procedure and understand them better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And having the source code is someone who can go through and read the Foxborough source code. You can actually go through, and as long as you update the tables properly and you call routines to update the data, you can handle everything through SQL instead of having to do anything with Accountmate at all.
So most functions are performed through stored procedure, like updating inventory and updating received. Yeah.
Right. So the receiving of goods is very similar to the shipment that I showed you. So if we look at we'll come over here. We're going to come to a method on this screen form called Save Received Goods. And once again, we're going to create an SQL transaction. And we're going to start querying some data. Here we're going to update on hand. And so you can see how it goes through and does certain things. So someone should be able to go through and follow this logic and be able to replicate it.
Understand all the tables and everything that's involved, yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it all depends upon where you want to put your efforts in, right?
Yeah, no, I understand that. Okay.
But the coding inside of Accountmate is clean, it's easy to read and understand. You know, if you have a programmer who can read VB, 10 to 1 they can come in and read the Foxborough coding without that much of a problem, you know, as far as the control, conditional logic and so on.
Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah.
Just knowing where to find some of these things is where, you know, some of the learning curve is. You know, like I just showed you, you know, the update on hand. I mean, how would you really know where that is?
Yeah, I know.
So.
But that information is available in the programming guide. So getting the programming guide in the database reference is probably
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, and as far as doing anything with those guides from the website, you know, get with Donna and find out what she wants to do for you. I know for the business partners, I know they charge $95 a document, so you know maybe she'll strike some deal with you guys, or you know who knows what she'll do for you.
Okay. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, that's a great start. Thank you very much, Guy. It's exactly what I was
You're
looking
welcome.
for. Okay. Take care.
All right, you guys have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.